So there's this interesting thing about humans, people. They're they're always focused on the future, and this is often said, of course. But it's really an interesting thing, isn't it? That the only time we can actually be and enjoy and exist is the present. But so much of our focus is on the future, right? Everybody knows this in some capacity, right? But it's a big reason for a lot of suffering that happens. Like, this funny thing with people is, right, they're aware of death, right? And they measure the quality of their life by the amount of pleasure, pleasant experiences that happen to them. And like, see, when an animal, right, for example, when an animal eats, they just eat and they're full and they move on. But for humans, oftentimes, even when they're full, they keep eating because there's this conditioned instinct that we gotta maximize the amount of food because in the future there might not be food, for example. It's like subconscious almost. Or like, they want to maximize the amount of pleasant experience they have in the future, that like when it actually happens they can't appreciate it fully. It's just it's an endless loop, right? And we have so many copes for it, like entertainment, YouTube, different kinds of food, activities. Nothing wrong with that, but the problem is, again, this: we have to maximize it. You have to make the most out of your day, right? To the point where when something happens, you just kind of, it happens and you're already focused on the next thing that's gonna happen. We're too fast, this future thinking, and it's really funny. Okay, maybe funny is not the best word for it, but the future we imagine is like an abstraction. We're trying to predict. We're trying to predict what's gonna happen. We're trying to influence what's gonna happen. Like, we imagine all of these scenarios, but the future is not tangible. Right now, you can't enjoy your future, no matter how much you think about it, right? You can't experience it. So what's the point of thinking about the future so much? And funnily enough, the future is determined by what happens right now, right? It's not. So instead of focusing on the right now, we focus on the intangible imaginary future, which is gonna be determined by the tangible happening right now. And how should I put this? People live in the world of names, words, which are always abstractions of what's really going on. And the future, in the same way, can only be made up of concepts and ideas and images. It's an abstraction. So not only is it not real in the sense that it's most likely not gonna happen how you imagine it, even the abstractions we use to imagine it are just abstractions. It's like existence itself is very, it doesn't like to define itself too much. It's fluid, it's always changing. It's It's not really bound by any strict labels, but we like to put names on things, which is a definition. We try to define everything, put borders on it, limit it in some way. And these are exactly the concepts we use to label things. And then we start to believe these concepts to be the real thing, the thing itself. So it's basically like trying to draw the sky. um, the sky, it's nothing, right? It's an empty sky. It only exists. I don't know. It's trying to put water into a shape when it's doesn't. I'm trying to find a good example. My bad. I'm not explaining this well because I'm not really trying to explain it. I'm trying to point out something. Basically, we're trying to grasp at the ungraspable. We're trying to put the undefined into a definition. We're trying to put the shapeless into a shape. You get what I'm trying to say? And all of these things, not only the future, but all of these concepts about what's happening, take away or distract us from what's really happening, right? There's this sort of conflict going on between our ideas about what's happening and what's gonna happen and the actual happening itself, the direct experience. And then we have these funny situations where the I, this imaginary character in our thoughts, and the me, this body mind, just this body, the physical body, sort of don't work together well. Like the body wants something, the mind doesn't. The mind wants something, the body doesn't. You know, people smoke cigarettes because the mind wants that and it's bad for the body and things like that. Again, the mind wants copious amount of entertainment, but it's, you know, we're gonna, for example, sacrifice sleep just to watch more YouTube or more entertainment. So we're directly going against the body for our mind's sake. And then the next day the body's all tired and fucked up, so it goes against the mind for its own sake. So there's this constant, like, I could go on giving examples, but I'm sure you guys watching and girls understand what I'm trying to say. There's this constant battle between the mind and the body, right? Happening, where one always contradicts the other in a sense. And that's mainly because modern society and the conditioning of humanity has led us to become a species that's highly dependent on our conceptual understanding of the world, and it sort of neglects our natural wisdom. And I'm not talking about wisdom as in words and concepts, like you hear some profound saying and that's wisdom. No, no, no. I'm talking about more the sense of this natural intuition of what's right. We all have it, you know what I mean. You know when you're doing something that deep down you know is not all right. And I'm not trying to hold rigid good or bad labels for what I'm pointing at, but you know what I mean. There's this like inner intuition that we all have of what we should be doing. It's not really what we should, but like what's natural for us to do. And then there's this conditioned mind, these ideas, concepts, character we play, which is completely conditioned and illusory, a phantom that goes against this intuition, this natural wisdom a lot of the times. You know, I'm talking about the wisdom of we don't have to beat our heart, we don't have to pump our blood. We don't, you know, that's hard to explain. Everything knows how to take care of itself, you know. A bird doesn't try to be a bird and it's a really good bird, you know. Cats, animals, they're just doing their own thing purely by this natural instinct. right? But since humans have this capability of conceptualizing things, coming up with ideas, concepts, very concrete images, and we take pride in that humanity has started relying solely upon that and kind of neglecting this natural part of us, this nature within us. I don't know, like, you know how the tree just grows by itself naturally, you know, the bird reacts to sounds, does what it does, it doesn't think about what it does what it does by itself, and it makes a pretty good bird. Well, people no longer act like people, they try to become something. You know, you don't have to become a person or a human, you already are. But then you try to become something else. You try to become successful, become smart, become skilled. So you're basically basing all of your actions off of ideas about what's happening. And these ideas are, of course, like I said, limits imposed upon what's happening. So you're living out of an abstraction. And then we get this dissonance between the natural part of us, like our own natural instincts, natural inclinations, our bodies, whatever, and this mental idea of ourselves, like this story, this it sort of happens like where this character appears in your mind. Some people call it the ego, which is an illusion. It's a made-up thing, and it's based on abstractions about what's happening, what happened, you know. So yeah, I just did a bunch of rambling because like I can't really explain anything, because every explanation itself is sort of like an abstraction. So all I can do is kind of vaguely nudge you, vaguely guide you along your experience. Maybe you'll notice it. I didn't really have a point with this video, so yeah, that's it. If anyone gets what I'm saying, there's nothing to get, but there's just something to see in your own experience. You know, don't just, there's nothing to believe about what I say. Just notice it. If you really are open, you can notice this. Deep down, everyone knows this to be true as an experience. So that's about it. Thanks for watching, and yeah, see ya.